Hello and welcome to this Learn video. There's been a lot of discussion in the media and on the internet recently about ChatGPT and other AI and its impact that it's going to have on students' work, especially the risk of plagiarism, copying work from ChatGPT, getting ChatGPT to do your homework for you. So what I thought I'd do on this video here is put together a list of 5 simple strategies that you can use to reduce that impact. So let's have a look. So the first thing you can do is make it recent. Now ChatGPT only really has a limited knowledge of events after 2019. So if you start to put reference to very recent events inside of the assignments that you set, it's really going to struggle and students are going to have to think for themselves. So for instance, you could say, okay, write a 500-word essay on the causes and consequences behind last week's whatever, flooding in Ethiopia or something like that. So students are going to have to research into that themselves and put some work in because it's too recent for these large language models to be able to cope. Okay, so that's the first tip. Second strategy is make it personal. So ChatGPT doesn't know much about individuals, and especially it doesn't know about people who aren't famous. So try to make questions or essay assignments or those sorts of things that relate to either the individual themselves or members of their family or the school community, that sort of thing, because ChatGPT won't be able to produce that wholesale. At the very least, they might be able to ask ChatGPT or similar some questions, get a general idea, but they're still going to have to adapt it for their own use, which is pretty similar to what they're going to need in real life anyway. So that's probably good practice anyway. So for instance, explain how the law of supply and demand affected your last holiday. It's not going to be able to know that. So students are going to have to work through that themselves. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is make it local. Anytime that I ask ChatGPT about small businesses or organizations within my local area, or anything about the local area really, it really struggles apart from general knowledge. So you could take advantage of that and make reference to local businesses, depending on what you're doing. Get students to write things about that business that that ChatGPT won't know, but your students will. So for instance, explain how climate change is affecting, whatever the local town is. If that's a local area rather than a big city, you'll probably find that ChatGPT will really struggle. Okay, good. The fourth one is, it's pretty old-fashioned. Make it a paper-based assignment. Get students to write it up. So it's like single shot paper-based essays. Single shot's really important. So you say to students, you don't want them to practice it. You want them to just write it in almost in a kind of stream of consciousness sort of way. Because if they do that and they're copying it from ChatGPT, they're likely to have fewer errors than if they did it themselves. So it's probably quite likely to spot. If you're getting students to do single shot, writing it just without crossing things out or just crossing out as they go, yeah, it's going to be messier, but you do know that it is their own work. And it's important to remember, really, for most subjects, you're trying to assess knowledge rather than presentation anyway. Okay, which takes us to the final tip, which is make it creative. Okay, ChatGPT and the AI, they can't make things in the real world. So get your students to make something, go Blue Peter style. So just set an assignment where the students have to use their arts and crafts skills to build something around the thing that you've been learning. Not only will it be, very unlikely they've stolen it, plagiarized it, but also they'll probably have much more fun than if they were doing a simple writing assignment. Yeah, it's more hard work to mark and it's more hard work for the students, but it can be a lot of fun. And it's something I used a lot during lockdown with my students when they had a lot of time on their hands. There you go. So there's 5 simple strategies that you can use to reduce the impact of ChatGPT and other AI plagiarism. If you have any tips yourself, anything you want me to add to the next video, then just please add them in the comments section and I will try and get them all added on. Let me know what you think. Thank you.